Hello, everybody. Welcome to the A Show, where smart is the new sexy. I am your co-host, April Hunter. Across from me is my co-host, Colin Weissong, and producer. He's doing double time. And today we are going to talk about Fetish Con, which I attended this weekend with my friends. And we're going to touch on some conspiracy theories, which are also now known as spoiler alerts. So stay tuned for all of that. And I want to thank you ahead of time. Thank you ahead of time for subscribing to this channel, for being on a Patreon, the A Show. Appreciate it very, very much. We love our subscribers. It's one thing to say that you love us on Twitter, but it's another thing to actually put your money where your mouth is. So thank you for doing that. Like, you're proving yourself, and we love it. So welcome. So hi, Doug. Hi, Hamming Media Group. I know that's actually you, but I just want to say hi to everybody. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Eva. And hello, Alexa. How are you guys doing? So, so we were putting up some pictures. We were taking a little bit of time because we were putting some pictures up from this weekend. And it took a minute because we're trying to go through and figure out which ones would be okay and which ones YouTube might deem to be a little bit
risque.
Okay. Yeah. So Fetish Con, if you're not familiar, happens in the Tampa Bay area once a year, usually the second week of August every year. And it is a good time. So, and I always try and figure out if this is 4 days, because I mean, people come in on like Wednesday-ish, but really it's 4 days. And I try, it's fabulous for people watching. And I try and figure out if it's 4 days of people getting to be themselves, like they're finally getting to be themselves for the 4 days, or if it's 4 days of people trying out something new and kind of cosplaying the fetish thing. I don't know. It's interesting. You can kind of see who's comfortable and who's not.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's probably a release. Like, it's probably a combination of the two. Like you said, it's people finally taking off that corporate mask.
Yeah.
And being the whatever they feel like they want to be. And then, like you said, some people for their first time, you know, like once you take that mask off for the first time, it can be very like, oh my God, this is
freeing.
This is very freeing. Yes.
Yeah. And it's very non-judgmental. Like, anything goes, anyone goes. There's no, it feels like almost like a hippie thing, like peace, love, and thigh-high boots, you know? So the shinier, the better. So hi, Allie. Hello. Hi, Winona. Awesome to see you guys here. So yeah, it's got a really cool vibe, pun intended. And it's just very interesting. So my Eva and Jamie went with me, and as Eva is pointing out, very polite people. And they were very polite. And we did as much as we could. Like, we hung out in the dungeon for a while, which was fascinating. I love it. So
I got a quick question.
What?
After the FetCon, is there a giant Ren Fair?
There is.
Okay.
And there's multiple choices of it too. Like, you can go to the kinky pool party. You can go back to the dungeon. And there are rules with all these too. Like, you can't take a camera in the dungeon.
Of course.
Which makes it a nice safe spot. You can't do certain things. You need to have passes. You know, not just anyone can walk in. But and hello, Keon. How are you? So that's all right. Hey, AB Twitch, it's nice to see you here. So there are rules and regulations, but at the end of the day, I can't help but feel for the hotel staff who have to work that week. Or maybe if they don't really clean, feel for the hotel inhabitants who come the following week. I don't really know. So
why is this room very sticky?
I don't know. Maybe just don't walk barefoot against the carpet and take off the comforter. I don't know, but there is, there's a lot of paddling going on, a lot of black leather stuff. So yes, it is very respectfully run. And it was weird for me because, I'll go to the wrestling shows, I'll go to the Comic Cons, I'll go and do this, that, and the other. And I did have fun. Thank you. It was a blast. But this particular place, I couldn't walk 20 feet without somebody going, April Hunter. I was freaking famous. And I wasn't sure this was the place I wanted to be famous at. So
there's a niche for everything though, April. Like
I know,
like
but
that,
my
like
feet were famous too. There was like a whole,
yeah.
there was a thing. It was like a thing.
You have to kind of just lean into it sometimes, because like I get these videos for this podcast called No Jumper,
Hmm.
and I didn't realize that the guy that hosts the show, like I thought he might have been a basketball player or like a rap artist or something like that. No, he used to be a porn star,
Okay.
and he's like into all these other things. And then like I saw him playing in a poker game on these poker matches that I watched, and I'm like, okay, he leaned into the porno thing and turned it into, him hanging out with rappers and a giant. I mean, it's a super successful podcast. Like,
Isn't porn mainstream now? It's like not
I think
such a
so.
big deal
I think so
anymore. Like
now.
Jenna
Now,
Jameson kind of made it a business,
yeah,
like a respected business.
her and Pam Anderson, when the Pam and Tommy thing came out,
Hmm.
like that was, it used to be very taboo, and then they were just like, "No, look, here's our porno,"
Yeah, and they're making TV shows about
and
all that.
everybody started doing it. Paris, you had China put one out. You had
Hmm.
uh, Kim Kardashian had one. You're
Hmm.
not really famous until you put that sex tape out there. So.
I guess that's why I'm not really famous. And Amy Twitch is asking if I would go again. I go every year, actually. I think I've only missed one or two since I've moved here. So I am a regular there. Matter of fact, that is where I met George Perez, who is a Marvel and DC artist, as many of you may know. And that's who I worked on one of his last projects with. I say one of his last projects because I thought I worked his last project, and then I realized he had a super top secret project, which was unveiled at FetCon because he was memorialized for this show, which was done very tastefully, very well. And he runs the Superhero Showdown, or ran it every year, and they kept it going this year. And I think they're going to keep it going. So I was in it this year. I was the villain, and it was a lot of fun. We got there a little bit late, and I just like walked right into it.
Hang on, I got a picture of one of the memorial boards. I was gonna pop it up there, but
Hi, cool, awesome dude. Yeah, so I don't know if you can read this, but
at the top it says "Sisterhood of Superheroines" comic by George Perez.
Yep. So yeah, he was, and that's all on my Facebook and Twitter, I believe. I probably should I'll get it on Instagram and everything. So these are his panels. He had, I think, 10 or 11 panels. Excuse me, my asthma's going crazy today. But as you can, I'll have, close up pictures of them elsewhere too. And he has a picture, I don't know if it'll be in this group maybe, with all the girls that he did these with. Hi, Steve. Happy birthday. Happy slightly belated birthday. Happy birthday to you, Steve.
My Chrome's freezing up on me.
Yeah, and April. That's okay. See how it's freezing up? And you see that picture, the picture you just had up?
I'm going to stop sharing for a second.
When you share that picture again, I want you all to look first at the dress, which is very Henry Hill. Fuck you, pay me. Which is why I popped for it. I was like, this is the dress I need. And then look behind me in the background.
Oh yeah, I see the.
That was the normal. This was the normal dress there. So we had to whittle out a lot of the pictures we were going to show, even though that is legal. Wearing pasties is legal pretty much everywhere.
Yeah,
we weren't sure how YouTube was going to handle it. So
I've heard from a cop that as long as you're shaved and certain parts are covered, you can pretty much walk around naked. With very little on, as long as you have the pasties and a little string covering whatever you got down there.
And you're about to see some of that because it's legal.
So do you want to start going through some of these pictures?
Sure.
I can start from the top, and then we can work our way through.
No, and I didn't post on YouTube, but this podcast goes on to YouTube. So I didn't, It seems like social media, and they're censoring any excuse to. They call
this stuff might not, April. This is the freaky stuff they like to put over now.
Is it? Okay. Yeah, I got in trouble on my very new Twitter page, which is, by the way, Real April Hunter. I got in trouble last week for agreeing with the author of a tweet. And it was sarcastic, and apparently they deemed that a threat speech because, never mind. Anyway, I got locked out. So. For a day or half a day. And I was like, that didn't take very long. I was like, wow. All All right, so let's look at this. This is a dungeon in a bag. So how much was this thing? And it went into like multiple different things. So I think
Does it have different attachments?
it does have different attachments, and it's in a bag that could like theoretically maybe fit under your bed. I would like one if anybody wants to know what I want for my upcoming birthday, September 24th.
Amazon wish list.
$2,300. Yes. So
Okay.
it looked fun. And for those of us who have cluttered homes and no option to do anything cool like this, I would love it. And hi, Speedway. Happy Tuesday to you too.
Could it also like if someone comes in, you can just be like, no, that's an art easel.
Oh yeah, totally. You
yeah.
could pop a picture right on that.
Just
pop a picture right on that and be like, "It's my easel."
It's an art easel.
It's dual purpose.
These chains hold the picture onto
Yes.
the easel.
Yeah, it secures it for when the ceiling fan is blowing on high.
Oh, that's funny.
These were kitties. And they acted like kitties. As a matter of fact, dominatrix held up a chain and the kitties go to the chain. It was hilarious. So the kitties were going around with a big bunny. You can see the bunny kind of behind them in the pink. And they didn't realize there was a service pit bull right up on this girl, which she is holding that dog back from killing them. So the dog's like, the dog did not like the kitties there. But they were all over that convention on their knees.
I saw some. Were they? I guess they're in another picture. Were there other dog humans? Because I know dressing up like dogs and stuff like this is kind of the new thing too. Yeah.
I only went on Saturday, but I'm sure I missed a lot, like on Thursday, Friday. And Cool Awesome News said I saw your video blog at the 2012 Fetish Con. Yeah, that's on Clips for Sale. It's Clips for Sale /31614, I think 31614, or you can just search me. And there is some Fetish Con video blogs, and I did do a pec flexing duel with some dude there. It was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. We need to get video of that for sure. I like and find out how you can get molded and start earning extra money with us. That's we have the merch. Just get a mold of your thing and sell it on the internet. Okay.
There's more on that one. We'll get a close up. So what is that picture?
It's the swing, the A swing. Oh. It looks like the official swing of the A show.
Yeah, that we should adopt that. That should be our official swing. Too bad you can't like close up on it. Maybe you can. Maybe people have bigger screens. Those of you at home who are watching on TV, you can see who's in it and what's going on. Yeah, there's a guy in it. We saw a lot of really interesting contraptions for being tied up, and as our friend so lovingly said, that's a lot of work for a blowjob. Like yeah. Which I mean, he had a point. This was my favorite shirt of the day, emotional support bottom.
From Slut Monkey Industries. If you're interested in getting that T-shirt, if you're an emotional support bottom, Slut Monkey Industries.
I feel like I need an emotional support bottom. Some days you just need that.
The animals aren't enough, are they?
No, and you should see the swag that I got. I left it in the other room like an idiot. So I got like a straitjacket. They gave me a straitjacket sweatshirt. It's got clips on it where you can clip the person up and the arms behind their head, all here, you can tie them up. And it came with a paddle.
I'm still amazed that this person that I know, I'm freezing up, I think.
No, I see you.
Okay. So I'm still amazed that this person that I know told me that like North Carolina is huge in the dominatrix stuff, and like especially Greensboro. I'm just like blown away by that. Like you think like Bible Belt states, like North Carolina is that state. That's probably why there's a lot of that.
Why. Yeah. Why do you think the majority of the people who do porn went to Catholic school?
That's true.
They were whipped by nuns and told to get on their knees and stay there. Hello. The religious industry is making BDSM dominatrixes. Anyway, these pictures, there's just some random pictures we took.
This looks like...
By the way, any freak I've ever been with has always been super religious.
This looks like the character from Little Monsters. Do you remember when Howie Mandel was Little Monsters? That might be anyone in the chat. If you remember the movie Little Monsters with Fred Savage and and Howie Mandel. He looks like the demonic retcon version of that character.
Yeah. And hi, Canada Spaceman. Yeah, there's a whole story behind this right here. And we're trying to get her on the show. This woman has a really interesting story. This was a fetish version of
Deadpool.
Yep.
Yeah. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. We're not 100% sure what that was, but Eva looked it up, and I think we came to the conclusion that there was such a thing as inflatable fashion, and he was an inflatable butt plug.
Oh, okay. I thought he looks like an inflatable gimp
or something.
Yeah, something that's very
Hi, Krilly. How are you? You might be in here too.
Hang on. Let me get back. Facebook is not liking me today.
No, that happens to me too. It just yeah, I know. It's probably totally Japanese. There's a lot of stuff there that kind of was leaned, I think, Japanese. So
back.
Billy Ray, you went to Catholic school.
I sent him the link, April, so he may come on. He said he's making dinner, so he may slide in here and talk some of the other news and stuff that you want to talk about later on in the show. Here you are. I saw this earlier, and it looks like you were hosting something, and I was telling my fiance, I'm just like, April was so nervous to like do this show and to do podcasting and to talk to people, but I'm like, here she is on stage, like just talking to these people and having a grand old time, like it's just natural to her, like they're her people and everything. And I'm like, but it's crazy how that you do get nervous. And she's like, maybe it's because you're just talking into a camera and you don't know if there's anybody really watching you and everything. And I'm like, you make a good point, but she's been in front of thousands of people.
It's like, is this thing on? Is there anybody out there? Is anybody actually hearing me? I don't know. Is my message getting? I don't know. But out there, you have live crowd feedback.
Yeah, and you get that energy too. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. So so there was a bunch of pretty little superheroes there, and I came out as the evil witch, and I cast a spell on them, and I think it was boil and toil, left versus right, divide and conquer, superheroines fight. So and then they all started fighting, and then eventually the spell wore off, and they tied me up like the bitches they are. So we had fun. April, the experience. Yeah. One of my lovely fans was there, and he said that I'm not a person, I'm an experience. So that is an exclusive issue, a hardback cover of Sirens that I don't have and I never saw before, but somebody was given that by George Perez, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I took a picture of it and signed it for them.
That's dope. Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. And there you are. I scored a photo shoot while I was on the floor. My feet did. So my feet were rocking that day. I love this picture right here. That's dedication to the art right there.
Yeah, you got to get those good angles.
Got to get the good angles. And if you look in the picture, he got the good angles.
He did. Here's a bigger picture of that bunny.
Yep.
That you were saying that was following them around.
Yeah. Domination bunny right there. Yep. And thank you, Steve. Sirens was definitely is really cool. It was really probably one of the coolest projects I've ever been involved with. I'm not sure what the hell that was. I'm sure
I was trying to figure out what was coming out of this guy's backpack. It's like one of those like light things that you would buy at the circus.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully that's not going up somebody's butt later.
It might be. No judgment. Now, okay, so they had,
no judgment at all.
So this right here, they had a Build-A-Bear station. You could build the bear any way you want, but it was
I thought that was Kinky Lamb Chop.
Yeah, it was nope. That is a teddy bear that she built just the way she wanted it, with a little strap on and the dog collar. And I was like, that is freaking fucking fantastic.
I saw that and I was like, they would have like a Kinky Lamb Chop there. That's
Kinky
awesome.
Build-A-Bear. Hey, Jamie.
I think this was that picture that you were talking
about.
Yes,
that's and Sahara Huxley is on there, and you guys will probably recognize some of the other ladies. Oh, and thank you. George would have been really proud of you. I appreciate that so much. So I did try and steal that bear. I wanted that bear. I was like, is that for sale? That would be a super cool conversation piece to have in my living room.
Hopefully, they wouldn't have wanted you to like. Well, they would have let you make your own, right? I mean, it was like
You
a teddy
can,
bear
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I just didn't want to pay for it. I was trying to trying not to spend money these days, you know. But by the way, aprilhunter.net, we are relaunching it. It is up and moving for those of you who are still there. Thank you. For those of you who are going to get back on it, because I know you are, there's going to be all kinds of new content, and thank you. But yeah, because it was down for like 2 months, trying not to lost the stream of revenue there, and we're working on getting it kicking again. So, but until then, I don't want to spend any extra if I can avoid it. I want a Build-A-Bear. I don't need a Build-A-Bear. So, yeah. So this is a Harley Quinn, and after we did the show, this guy sat me down to do an interview about George.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, and Jamie is letting me know that August 16th is National Rum Day. I had no idea.
We know who to go for the rum.
I guess so. So yeah, so it's just another getting ready to go out and kick some ass. This is I'm standing there talking to Satranic. She is a wrestling manager here around the area in Florida. So her and her wife, and they're always fun to talk to. So there was a lot of like, of course, anything goes. There was a lot of trans people there, and a lot of. Oh yeah, I said that twice. Sorry. Oh wait, stay on that one for a second. There was a lot of. How do I put it?
Actually, maybe I don't think I can. I just noticed something.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna get off that. Let them know what they just saw, but we'll circle back to that.
Yeah, as there was a lot of trans that were you know, you order from Amazon, but you get Wish.
Oh yeah. Like it's just they're just putting a wig on, kind of thing.
Something like that. That's it. I got off the stage and I kicked my shoes off because my feet hurt, and this lovely trans person named Barbara came over and gave me an amazing foot rub, and I was like, this is the greatest Saturday ever. I got to be on stage. My friends are with me. I made a few dollars doing a shoot. My feet are being rubbed by a unique person. I'm loving this.
Every weekend needs to be FetCon weekend
I think it would get, redundant after a while, but it was a special weekend for sure.
Once a month.
So,
how about once a month? If you could do it once a month.
Yep, it was trans name Barbara. Yep, Barbara was lovely. And there's Eva and Jamie.
Babs with the foot massage.
Yep. Before that picture was something called Crowbones. So that's why I'm saying if you could go back to that picture.
Well, there was a picture in the top right corner of a lady laying there. Yeah.
Okay, so that lady we're trying to get on this show. There is a woman who I didn't know she used to be a sex worker, but I figured there was something going on, who had never, ever had an orgasm until she was 52 years old. She said she just wasn't able to. And then finally, I guess she reached out to people and was just like, what am I doing wrong? So she realized that she needed something different, constant pressure and just all the, I bet if she comes on here, she'll explain it. She invented a masturbation tool called Crowbones. So, and her story is fascinating about what she's gone through to try and market this and all the bullshit she's dealt with. And
yeah, I bet.
And she's also like a super hot looking older Debbie Harry type. Like you kind of can't tell how old she is, but if she didn't have an orgasm until she's 52, she's probably rocking the late 60s, maybe 70, but one of those ones that still looks 50. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So her story is really interesting. And her, she talks about how she's always all about people pleasing and all this other stuff. And it's funny. She just turned around. She's like, imagine that, all those dicks, and I never had an orgasm. She's like, I didn't know what it was. And she goes, and I don't think I'm the only person out there like this. There's probably more like me out there. So
probably so, yes.
Yeah. So she was explaining the health aspect of it, how as we get older, it is more and more important to have orgasms because of what it does for our brain, for our memory, for different things. And that is why I would like to have her on here too, because I think a lot of people don't realize this or don't fully realize it. So if I can get her on, I would love to have her on. So what you are looking at here is the group of superheroines from the Superheroine Showdown. So we were doing the little red carpet thing together.
Apparently, they got to spank a She-Hulk.
Yes. There was a lot of spanking going on. Mm-hmm. Speaking of spanking, this lady is very proud of the spanking she got, to the point where she decided to show it off with the skirt she decided to wear after her spanking.
Yes, that is not the light of his pink shirt shining off her butt cheeks.
Nor is it cellulite. That is a modeled behind from a good paddling.
Good paddling.
So,
fleshlights, almost.
As real as it gets. And then that was right next to it, next to the sign that said "as real as it gets," and we were like, "I'm going to dispute that theory. I've never seen that before. I've seen a couple of penises in my life. I've never seen that." So this was our lovely devil lady here. She rocked this gear, costume, outfit, pasties, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Y'all, your Maleficent dress that you have there just goes perfectly with the villain theme. Like you nailed it perfectly here.
That was an accident. My friends, I was just like, I grabbed the feathers last minute, and I said to my friends, I'm like, feathers, no feathers. They're like, feathers. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's FedCon. Got to go with the feathers.
Right. So this lady was very, very tall, even without the boots. So with a slamming body. And Hitman says orgasms help to stimulate endorphins and create in certain nerves in our heads. Yes, they do. Do you see this guy wearing boots, high-heeled boots?
Mm-hmm.
He's just a regular guy wearing women's clothes, wearing boots. There's a lot of men wearing high-heeled boots. And we couldn't figure out why they would want to, because like my feet were killing me after just wearing some wedges. Like we wear them because there's another one right there. He's wearing thigh-high boots and one in pink. Just kind of standing around in thigh-high boots. I'm like, oh, he's rocking it. He's doing better than me. There was another lovely trans person. And yeah, if you ever seen the movie Kinky Boots, it's because of rocking the legs. She was rocking the legs. Kinky Boots was all about trying to find some shoes that could hold like 225 pounds. So, but anyway, yes, we really did have a good time. You're right. There's a couple video clips. One I put up, a couple more I haven't put up yet. So, Braun Strowman.
So there are pictures. You know the big guy Braun Strowman, right? There's pictures of him floating around the internet of him in a cat costume, like a Halloween cat costume, and he's in a lot of very like revealing clothing. Kind of like, have you ever seen the picture of Oscar De La Hoya in fishnet stockings? And
I have, yeah, he rocks them.
Yeah, it's something. There's a lot of questionable pictures of the big 7-foot guy Braun Strowman out there on the internet.
No, that sounds very judgy to me.
See if I can find some for you.
It sounds very judgy.
Yeah,
it's a no judgment zone. So we went into the dungeon for a while, and that was awesome because you couldn't use your phone, no cameras or anything. So you go in, and by the way, okay, I wish they would do this everywhere. FetCon had glasses everywhere and fresh cold water all over the place, which is really nice. I think in every room you could get free water, free. I think
got to stay hydrated.
There's a lot
of
ice
juices,
water.
A lot of juices, a lot of sweat. You got to stay hydrated, of course.
It's also August in Florida, but still, it's nice. But appreciate that. That was a nice gesture. So we went into the dungeon room, which is, a conference room in the hotel that they turned into a dungeon room. The lights were down low. They had all those pieces of equipment like that X there and some swingy things and some stuff there. And then they had the live DJ. They had a live DJ who was playing the most awesome music. So like we three were up against the wall here. Like Jamie's doing karaoke, like fetish karaoke, singing these awesome songs. The DJ's like this, you know, we're jamming. And this woman, like some of the doms over there, like there's a woman and a guy, and they got like the whips, and they start beating these people to tune of the music. It's like it was great. And the clients were like, oh, just getting their ass beat. It was fabulous. Fabulous. We're having such a great time. But oh, you went silent. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I had my thing pulled down. So this is Braun here, in a cat costume.
Okay.
Assuming. I mean, you know.
All right. Well, there's the one below him because that one's doing something just as.
Unusual. I don't know who that is. The Action Man. I don't know who that is.
That looks like a Halloween thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they were at like a Halloween party. I mean, it's him dressing up for a Halloween, but there's a lot of pictures of him just kind of dressed like that, right? You know, I don't know.
And Hitman's saying there's a lot of guys out there do enjoy wearing women's clothing. Learned that a long time ago. I know that. I'm saying it from a joking female standpoint where I'm just like, our clothes are not that comfortable. Sometimes the clothes are not that comfortable.
Is that
I get it.
Where's my boxers all the time?
I'm currently wearing my ex-husband's boxers right now.
Yeah,
so
that's why men weren't designed to wear women's clothing. That's why women want to steal your hoodies. They want to steal your boxers.
Yeah.
They want the baggy, loose-fitting clothing that men wear all the time because they're used to just everything so tight and just.
Yeah. That's it. So this is a no pants zone when we are filming. I am never wearing pants ever. So it's almost always boxer shorts. So I'm with you.
Yeah.
So now you just froze up for a second. So am I freezing up or am I okay?
I think it's on my end.
Okay. I'm reading the chat. It's just interesting stuff that you guys are saying. So I think we're getting more and more I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Open and less judgmental, I guess. I mean, like I don't know.
As much as people fight back on the transing, like the trans women in sports and all that other stuff, we're very open to you doing you. Right, like I think society's a lot.
Florida's very open with that. I mean, I know Florida has a bad reputation online. Oh, Fred, hello. Florida has a bad reputation online for being whatever it is, but having lived here for 12 years, this is very live and let live. No one gives a shit if you are whatever race you are. They don't care if you're gay, straight, trans, whatever the fuck you are. They don't care. At least not in Tampa Bay. They don't care. So, and they don't care if you walk down the street that way. They don't care if you walk down the street holding hands with whoever. It's not even a thing. So anyway, speaking of that, I have a bunch of conspiracy theories that I want to throw out there that, like I said, might also be known to as spoiler alerts in 6 months or a year. But in the first, I wanted to talk about something that we did a little video clip on. I was on Instagram and there was a guy saying that he felt that men were becoming obsolete. And I thought about that because, you know, women are fairly independent, right? We're working, we're earning, we're able to do things. Men are independent too. But he obviously didn't like, he felt the obsolete thing. And I feel that men are becoming optional, not obsolete. And to high value women. Here's why. The role of men typically for hundreds of years or longer, hundreds of years, has been to financially provide or, feed and provide in some way. And a lot of men have not really evolved past that. They still think that their job matters and how much money matters. How much money they earn matters. And quite honestly, a high value woman does not give a shit about your job or how much money you make. They don't care about what you do as long as you do and you're not going to live off of them.
Yeah.
So what a woman who is high value looks for is an equal. So someone who is able to, you know, basically, I don't want to say emotional support after using an emotional support bottom. No, they're looking for emotional connection. They're looking for a best friend. They're looking for someone to do things with. They're looking for someone they can have an intelligent conversation with, you know, something where they're, you know, not here and here, not here and here. They're looking for equality here.
Yeah.
So they're not looking for a boyfriend. They're looking for a Viking. You know what I'm saying? So if you are someone who is focused on what you do, what you drive, and how much money you make, you're going to attract low value women who are gold diggers, who are only looking for what you can do for them. So if you are focused on bringing your skills up, like if you've had shit going on in the past and you have dealt with it, and you can offer other things, and you have hobbies, and you are more than your job, or you have plenty to offer, that's you bringing your everything up, and you will get a high value female who sees you for, you'll attract that. So a lot of men, quite honestly, haven't worked on their skills and haven't brought them up. Some have, but the ones that are complaining haven't. So that's just an opinion.
Well, I think I've talked about it on the show. I remember seeing a chart, oh my God, almost over 10 years ago now. And it was the ages of men and whether or not they were in a relationship.
Yep.
And then how much money they made, right?
Yep.
And
$100,000, right?
Yeah, younger guys didn't make as much. They were still young, so they might have been in a relationship. Older guys that didn't make much weren't really in a relationship. But everybody that made over $100,000 was in a relationship. So they said, according to that poll, or you know, the graph or whatever. So, you know, as long as if you got that money, you'll be able to find anybody, right? Like what April said, are they going to be high value or are they going to be low value? Are they there for you for the money, or are they there for you for who you are as a person? Which I get, you know, a lot of celebrities have to watch out for that type of stuff, right? Like you hear it all the time. You know, people find them, get to know them, and then they just try to get that money from them.
Anyone right now who wants to be in a relationship, you could probably be in one tomorrow, if not next week, because there's someone out there who is lonely and also wants to be in a relationship and is happy to like hug up with you. But do you want that person? Do you want that relationship? So it's not that people want a relationship. It's that you want the right relationship with the right person who accepts you for who you are and brings out the best in you, and that's reciprocal. So yeah,
you got to keep looking sometimes. I've seen the different like you know, like eHarmony and Match.com, but they're getting so niche now. April, I've seen commercials for gaming, like Match.com, where it's like you don't have anyone to game with, you can like meet girls and guys or whatever and video, like play Call of Duty with them or play whatever games you want, like and that's how you meet and you talk and you chit chat. I mean, it's ultimately it's just like Tinder, where you're just trying to hook up, right?
yeah.
But you know, you're finding singles in your area that you can play games with, and you never know. Like I have legit. This is going to sound really nerdy and everything, but
Awesome.
I played this this MMO called Final Fantasy, right? And there were a guy and a girl who were in the group that we were in and everything, and they ended up getting married in real life and having kids. But in the game, we actually got to go to a wedding, like in the game, and they have a whole separate thing. Like you get to go to a secret area that you can only access when you do the wedding act part of the game. They have the whole ceremony. You get little fireworks to shoot off, but it's still really cool that these people fell in love over the now this was back in 2006, so I wonder if they're still together, right? That would be a cool if I could find them. But it seemed like they were together for at least a good 4 or 5 years. So, they might have stuck through. That sounds like a good amount of time, especially if, living together and
Okay.
having played with each other online like that. But
Yeah. Those
there's,
who play together stay together. Yeah.
there you
So
go.
I actually saw a dating app the other day. I want to say it was called the right one, the right something or the other. And it was specifically for people who are right wing, who are, hang on, straight with, who hate the liberal agenda and believe in all the it's extreme right wing stuff. And I was just like, Jesus Christ. So I mean, like, I don't know. I've never gone out of my way to date one side or the other or anybody. I was just like, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, and we found a dating site at the FetCon called Kink Positive Dating. That I might sign up for. I don't know. No. I mean, for a friend. Anyway.
Have you seen the one dating? There's a new dating app too that their whole commercial is it's designed to be deleted. So like,
That's Hinge, isn't it? Or
yeah, I
something?
think it's like Hinge or something like that,
Yeah,
where
it's the
they show the
relationship
little
app.
mascot getting blown
Yeah.
up or whatever.
Yeah.
Like how many times do people download it and re-download it and re-download it?
So I was on that once. I'm not on dating apps at all anymore. Like, I just hate them because I feel like people aren't true and real.
Yeah.
But I was on that app before, and I did meet a couple people from there who ended up, we dated a little bit. One guy I had like a little quarantine relationship with, who ended up now being one of my closest friends. He just moved back to England, but he's a super, super human being, like an amazing person. Another guy is somebody I see at the rent fair all the time, who we have a lot of common friends with. So, and they did end up being people that I had relationships with. So it wasn't that I learned from and spent time with and actually respect these people and could probably text them or call them if I needed something. So it is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, I think we have to thank the internet for that though, because growing up, you used to had to have those friends that would have been into like heavy metal music or whatever. You would have been that outcast. Now
Mm-hmm.
you can find somebody a million miles away that has the same, hobbies as you and interest as you. And as long as you're up around the same time, you can play video games together,
Yeah.
get to know each other. If you're listening to each other on podcasts or whatever, you can find ways to get to know each other. Cause I think
Yeah.
a lot of the people I know today, I've only met sparingly, here and there in real life. I know most of them just through podcasting and talking to them online or through Facebook Messenger and all that type of stuff. Most of your friends don't support you. Content creators, future content creators, and people that sell things, and I'm sure April can attest to this. Most of the people that are in your direct circle of family usually aren't going to support you in the types of things that you do. You
In the
usually have to,
family, no.
yeah, you have
My
to go out.
friends do, but not
Yeah,
family.
and go. You have to kind of
You got to
go
find
out
your
beyond
people.
your inner circle
Yeah.
to get people interested in your content and things like that. So,
That concept alone proves that we are all different souls who are
yeah.
incarnated, because there's no way we could all be related when everybody's like in your family is against what you do and thinks what you do is stupid.
And they're all different about it too. That's the
I
crazy
know,
thing. Yeah.
I know. So anyway, yeah, so there's that. Yeah, I actually dated somebody this past year who I met originally on MySpace. And we've known each other for like 17 years and being very close friends, and we're still close friends.
Tom's a very lucky man, even after all these years, to score April Hunter.
So I mean, it's whatever. So you meet people who you have commonalities with, and sometimes you have friends.
There you
Sometimes you end
go.
up
Chuck
dating.
said it right here.
Your vibe attracts your tribe, and my tribe happens to look like they have vampire fangs and long hair and
get masks,
mohawks, and some of them are zombies, and exactly. So anyway, you guys want to hear some conspiracy theories that I have?
That's what they're here for.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. So all this crazy trans stuff and all this crazy Trump stuff. What if that is going on to distract us from the bigger issue, the real shit going on? So I'm just gonna roll with a couple of things right here. Okay, first, you guys are familiar with the Dutch farmers and what's been going on there, right? In case you're not, I'll give you a quick rundown. Dutch farmers have been protesting because they're trying over there, they're trying to pass a bill based on climate change. And they're saying that the farms and the farm animals are, help me out here because I've only had like 3 hours sleep. That they are harming the environment, and they are trying to pass a law to make it legal to take generations upon generations of land that has been in their families. So somehow there's a food shortage that has been predicted. And the best way to handle that food shortage is to get rid of the farmland and kill off the livestock, because that makes total sense, right? So the farmers are fighting back. So let's roll into something else. There's a drought happening in Europe. This is pretty like fairly uncommon. Lake Mead is down quite a bit. There are forest fires and wildfires that have a ferocity to them that has not really been seen in a while. Like, they are bigger and wider and stronger and much harder to deal with. They're doing total devastation, like what we saw in Australia. Okay, so these things keep happening, right? Now, if you pay attention, if you back out of the media and back out of our little circle and pay attention to the bigger picture, little pieces of the puzzle start coming together. So when you get off of here, I want you, don't, like I said, I'm going to disclaimer this. I can always be wrong. And if I am wrong, I will admit I am wrong. But when you get off of here, I want you to look up, ready? Hang on.
We had that happen in the States under Obama. Do you remember when there's a big cattle family out in the Midwest, and they were protecting their land from the feds that were trying to take it, and there was like a big standoff out in the Midwest for a while. I remember that they were talking about that when Obama was in office. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't. What was going on?
Let me look it up.
Yeah, tell me about that. Because I mean, they've been trying to steal land forever, right?
They were trying to push these people off the land, like you said, that these people have had the land for years, which you could easily say, oh, well, they stole it from the Native Americans.
Right.
But again, it's generational land. Like, it's their land, and there's certain ways that the feds have to go about taking your land. They have to buy it from you and things like that. Chuck remembers it. I can't remember what the family name was, but I'm going to try to find it.
All right, we'll look up that, and if you got your pen and paper ready or whatever, write down. I want you to look up weather modification when we get done here. Again, don't take my word for it. Look up weather modification. All right, so by the definition, weather modification is the deliberate or advertent altercation of atmospheric conditions by human activity. That was defined in the 1950s. So
found it. Okay, so I found the Wikipedia, which
let's also throw in 2 other things that people don't know. I know a lot of people have said, yes, Bill Gates is buying up farmland. Countries are trying to take it from people, and China is buying up phenomenal amounts of farmland. Okay, go ahead.
So in 2014, the Bundy Standoff was an armed confrontation between supporters of cattle rancher Cliven Bundy and law enforcement following a 21-year legal dispute in which the United States Bureau of Land Management obtained court orders directing Bundy to pay over $1 million in withheld grazing fees for Bundy's use of federally owned land adjacent to Bundy's ranch in southeastern Nevada.
Grazing fees.
So I guess he has his own farmland, and he was letting his cattle was being allowed to eat on this federal land, and he didn't want to pay the fees, I guess. And so they came in, tried to take his land, and they really pushed it. I mean, you can tell 21-year legal dispute, and it comes to a head where they're armed and basically fighting each other almost out under the Obama administration in 2014.
Oh, like the new IRS agents that they hired?
Yeah,
who have to be willing to use deadly force and be armed.
They're teaching them.
That's not weird.
They're teaching them how to raid suburban homes in case you don't turn your taxes. And there was a show I'm listening to, Billy Ray Valentine and Tony Arterburn. Tony makes the joke of the IRS agent. They want to know if you claim that $20 that your grandmother gave you all those years ago, and they're going to find out.
That babysitting money, motherfucker. Your kid has.
At lemonade stand.
Yeah. Okay, so before we go to that, okay, so you got the Trump search and seizure. I'm not going to say it's a rate of search and seizure, realistically. And everybody knows, who's known me for a long time, that I never liked Trump. I just didn't. But it just seems like he's being targeted right now with targeted harassment and abuse of power. And it makes me feel sorry for him. And I didn't like him, and I feel sorry for him. So imagine what that's doing to people who do like him. It's going to make him wildly popular. So I think this is going to backfire. And I don't think anything's going to come of it.
Well, the biggest thing is that he's got classified documents, but the president can declassify documents. He has the power to declassify. He can literally just hold up a classified document and say, I declassify this document, and it's automatically declassified. Like, there's no bureaucratic red tape or anything like that he has to go through in the Constitution that says it. Right. It basically just says the president has the power to declassify documents.
Additionally, if you were worried about classified documents and it took you 18 months to do a search and seizure, you should all be fired. You're pathetic. Oh, but wait, hang on. He's getting super popular out there with his crowd, and he's a threat, and this is an election year. Maybe that's what it is. Again, okay. So look up, like I said, weather modification after here. So this is something that's real. So there are countries that are in 3-year contracts and multi-year contracts that have taken on weather modification, where they agree to let their weather be modified. So now we have droughts. We have all this stuff going on where the weather's really extreme. And I'll bet you this started around 2000, I want to say somewhere between 2008, because that's when the storms started getting really severe back then. And stuff was happening that was out of character for each state and each area. I think that's when they started playing around with this a lot. I've always maintained that they can control the weather. Why can't they? They have cat satellites and everything else. Why can't they control the weather?
And so they're trying doing it in Saudi Arabia and China for years now.
Yeah. So we're falling into this, this narrative that we need to have green energy, clean energy. We have to do this. We have to do that. Mm-hmm. At the same time, they're putting a squeeze on everybody with raising prices, raising fuel prices, making our power bills super, super high because our air conditioning is running nonstop, making it super cold in the wintertime. Heat's running nonstop. And now droughts. The drought is, going to kill the fish. It's going to make it so the ships can't get up to the ports. So now you have issues with bringing in food, bringing in supplies. So they are literally creating, I think, a man-made situation of shortages and problems on purpose to squeeze people and make them so uncomfortable that they're like, just do something, save us, just do something, because people don't like change at all. We saw that, they don't like change. The only time people change is when the discomfort they feel in their current situation is worse than the discomfort they feel going to something else. And we are seeing repeated issues. Like I said, look at the Australian wildfires, and then look at the Australian government taking money, because they were corrupt then, taking money that was supposed to go toward the wildlife to help with the animals and denying it. They hid scientific documents then because they made the scientists, they wanted them to bury the documents saying how much money was needed to help restock the wildlife. And they took that money. Again, do not take my word for any of this. Look it up yourself.
Well, we've got to run in here, April.
This is the same government that we're supposed to trust with our health. And by the way, hi, Billy Ray. Let me just finish. By the way, did you know why the shots can't be advertised on television? Because by law, anything advertised on television that's medication has to list the side effects. What's up, Billy Ray?
You guys are finished for real?
No.
Okay, good.
We're saying hi.
saying hi to you.
Did I miss the fetish conversation?
You sure did.
That's why I'm here.
That was in the beginning. We started
off. I don't want to talk about anything else.
We started off hot with that.
There was that weird ass thing. I don't even know how to describe it. That it looked like an X that you want for Christmas or something, or for your birthday.
Oh yeah,
you know, I'm like, that. It's completely new to me. To my. What is that? You know, but hey, you know, what is going on, April? How you doing?
I'm doing. How are you doing?
You know, I'm doing too.
We were just discussing a couple of conspiracy theories.
I heard, but I mean, the conspiracy theories, I do that all the time, right? But I don't do the fetish stuff all the time. I would love to have gone to Fetish Con and check that all out and see all the stuff that's going on, even though I probably wouldn't partake in about 80% of it, you know, especially the cat thing. You know, I'm like, you know, well, maybe I'd like hold up the string chains, so they can get it. That'd be kind of cool.
That's how I partake. I just play with it. Yeah.
But I did go to Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade, fully indoctrinated. So that should tell you something about my outlook to sex and my sex life, okay? Just saying.
Well, you can't assume with everybody.
It's safe to assume with me.
Okay.
You're good.
See, I knew it. I knew the religious was making the fetish. I knew it.
Man.
So
women are beautiful. What can I say, right? I have 2 vices in my life. Sugar.
Sugar,
and women.
Okay.
That's it. And if I can combine the 2, oh my God. Like women in Kool-Aid or something like. Oh.
So in other words, you are looking for a woman named Candy.
Fuck, that's too much, April. That is way too much. No, but let me talk about a couple of things real quick. If you don't mind, Colin sent me the link. Colin was like, come on, if you, I'm like,
go for it.
I always want to come on and speak to April Hunter and Colin. So I have no sympathy for Donald Trump. I don't care, right? Okay. Even though there was an overreach, it's an overstep. I could care less. Screw him, right? And declassifying stuff just because he's not the president anymore. He hasn't been for about 2 years. What the hell are you doing with those documents in your freaking basement? Second, you don't even freaking read, all right? Because he's been freaking, what is it? Every damn update they give him, his daily briefings, he just tosses them to the side. You expect me to believe that you're reading cases and cases of freaking documents? What are they doing there? What do you do? You know what? I am not a fan of Donald Trump, but I think this wasn't malicious at all. He just took them and put them on the site, and they've been there this entire time.
You think it just flaked out? He's just like, somebody handed him a box, and he just accidentally.
He's like, what is this? Like, why does it say top secret? What is it doing in the corner of my office?
He's packing up his office, right? He's packing all his shit, and there's just a box that happens to say top secret there, and he just throws it in with his stuff. He grabs the picture of his wife and his kids. He grabs his jacket, his slippers, and he's just like, fuck it. And he grabs all his shit, including that box, and just takes it and puts it in a corner of his house.
Exactly. The only thing that's a little weird about
that's something I would do.
I think any of us would do it. That guy, we give everybody, the haters and the lovers, we give him way too much credit. This guy's
I always said that.
He is an idiot, like of the umpteenth grade. Yeah, he's a billionaire. Whoa, Billy, he's a billionaire and your net worth is zero. Well, I didn't start with a few $1 million in my bank account either, right? And this is what happens here. He was able to build and rip a bunch of people off, and stab people in the back. I'm not willing to do any of that shit, and I don't have the startup money. If anybody wants to give me a few million, I would gladly take it and try my best to make that into $1 billion. So, hey, the Billy Ray, what is it? Success fund.
The Shark Tank.
Right. It's completely, I have nothing to offer. I'm not offering any inventions, nothing like that. Just give me a few million, just like Donald Trump had, right? Regardless, the guy's not very bright. So that stuff is sitting on the side. I don't think he read it. I don't think he did anything. The messed up part is his attorneys told the FBI or whoever was looking into this that he didn't have any more classified documents, that they had handed everything over and he kept a few. So I don't know. But do I feel like, this is an overreach and this is probably not supposed to be happening, but I don't feel sorry for him. Screw that.
I just feel like it's an abuse of power.
It is. You're absolutely right.
I feel like there's just abuse of power after abuse of power after abuse of power. I mean, look at the White House or whatever. They paid social media. They paid off social media to censor us. Like, we never had fact checkers or censoring until 2.5 years ago. All of a sudden, people started posting, questioning things and posting the truth. They're going against the narrative, and all of a sudden they're being banned from pages and having their accounts frozen and having labels stuck on them. And it's like, come on. You know, so it's really obvious that there's something behind all of that.
Right.
You know,
he is actively lying about a lot of this shit, or coming up with different excuses as to why these things were there, which is also very worrying to me. I'm trying to give the guy the benefit of the doubt because I think he's dumb as fuck, right? So I'm like, okay, you took these things. I'm pretty sure you didn't read them. They're there. Just give them the frig back. Why didn't you just give them back? Like, I don't know. But he keeps trying to come up with reason after reason after reason to justify what he's done. And then he's throwing out threats kind of over there saying, hey, things are going to burn. They're going to get really, really bad if this isn't fixed, you know? I'm like, easy. You know, I don't know. A lot of this is very, very convenient that it's coming out now, you know, so close to the midterms. There's you know, his popularity, like you mentioned, April, and I think Colin did too. I was gonna call you Hunter for some reason.
Huh? That's it. Well,
Hunter
I'll answer to Colin. And Eva's saying Hillary didn't give anything up, and HateBot said, do any of the alphabet agencies have a shred of credibility anymore? No,
they never did. They never did. But here's the deal.
And remind me after this to talk about how the new CDC guidelines, which are really interesting, and everything we've been saying for over a year.
Okay. They never did have any credibility, man. But this is the thing. Just because, so here's the problem. They're overstepping with Donald Trump. Not necessarily overstepping. Maybe they are. I don't know. He committed a crime. Right. So maybe they should have gone in there, but the double standard exists, right? They never did anything with Hillary or anybody else. Right. So they should have theoretically done it with Hillary, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if the FBI has never raided anybody, but they're talking about, oh my God, they're raiding Mar-a-Lago and that's his residency. How could they do that? He lives there. I'm like, fuck that.
Well, the point is
we get raided every freaking day. Ain't nobody saying, oh my God, that's his house. How could you possibly do that? Cops come in here and draw guns on you. It happened in my house.
We're saying that oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. But I had a whole situation with immigration. Not me personally. Somebody that lived in my house. And man, ICE came in there, bro. I mean, people were I wasn't there at the time. My sisters were there. My mother was there, you know, and they were all on the floor with guns drawn. U.S. citizens, by the way. Nobody said anything about, you know, this is a regular occurrence. But if it happens to this punk ass son of a bitch who's a billionaire living in a freaking resort, people start losing their minds over it. You know, I'm like, this guy is screwed. He wasn't even there.
I think, okay. So the concept of being able to raid a former president has been unprecedented, first. Secondly, if they can do it to him, the message is loud and clear. They can do it to any of us. So I think that's why. And third, the point that I was making is all this stuff going on designed to inflame and make everybody emotional? With
exactly what it is.
With Trump and trans hiding what's really going on with weather manipulation and agenda and different things. There's other stuff. Is it detracting from what's really going on so people won't notice?
Inevitably. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right with everything you said.
I mean, they're still not, you know, there's still the human trafficking thing going on with the list that the woman was convicted for.
I don't know about that. What's that? Tell me.
I want to say, is her name Ghislaine Maxwell, right? I have to say her first name.
Okay, fine.
She's convicted in jail, and they still haven't released their client list. So for children, she was human trafficking of children to pedophiles. So, and I think they just want people to forget about it.
Well, she did that along with Jeffrey Epstein at Mar-a-Lago, admittedly.
Well,
right?
I think that this was not a one side or another situation. There was just a whole lot of people that have a lot of sway involved.
But I want to bring everybody down, and this is the thing. They're saying Steve Bannon has openly gone on InfoWars and starts talking about how Mar-a-Lago is sacred ground.
Why?
But that's just what they're doing. It's incendiary comments. They're meant to divide. They're saying these things to piss off the left and reinvigorate the right behind Donald Trump. That's ultimately what's happening here.
They say that he's gotten a 10-point boost in his approval ratings since he's been rated.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's why that's what I'm saying. It's just going to make him more popular. And by the way, in case you guys haven't noticed, the 8 billionth person is expected to be born this year soon. So here's a weird thing. Here's another weird conspiracy theory, which we have plenty of them today, and we need to get through them really quick. But if all these people allegedly died, like so many people died in the past 2 years, I mean, tons and tons of people. This was national. This is such an emergency. We were losing millions in each country, right? At least 1 million in every country. All these people died, and the birth rate is lower than it's ever been, allegedly, according to Reuters, which is owned by like Rockefellers or something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head. If all these people died, why is it that you can't get into your favorite restaurant without a long wait? The traffic is worse than ever. That every flight is sold out and booked solid. That there are more crowds than ever now. So
I think we had one of these too.
Oh yeah, we also don't have a COVID baby boom. Like every single person didn't have a baby in their family, a new baby in their family. So, and not definitely it didn't have a COVID baby boom enough to have, a formula shortage for sure. There's nothing there. So, I mean, if all these people died, shouldn't we have fewer issues with crowds and being cramped and traffic and why does it seem like there are more than ever now, and there's more waits and there's more everything, and they keep trying to say because fewer people are working. No, they're not, because at all my local places it's all the same.
Fewer people are working in regular run-of-the-mill jobs. A lot of people went and did their own thing, which is dope. Right. So fewer people are working at the corporations or at the supermarket or at McDonald's or whatever, because they don't want to do that. Yeah. They're working somewhere else. The pandemic allowed them an avenue where they can explore making their own money. And a lot of people did that. So great, great for that. Also, I relate to that, April, because Gerald Celente, who's the trends forecaster, he's great. He goes on a lot of shows, and he's from New York. He's from the Bronx, and he talks about there's nobody in the restaurants. I'm like, no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Restaurants here, there's lines out the door, overflowing. Right? I know.
Even in the small town restaurants. Yeah.
So everybody's going to these things. I do think tons of people died, and I think people are still dying because of the shot and all this other stuff, adverse reactions. But I do think people just came back to the cities, and they decided that they were going to go out and have fun since they were locked up for a certain amount of time, and they're doing that. So I don't know. I don't know how the population has fluctuated. It just keeps growing, right? Like the 8 billion one is going to, so it's just keeps growing. So I think we're replacing everybody that dies, right? At least.
Well, easily. Mm-hmm. So yeah, and this just recently, I think 4 days ago, there was a military document that was exposed, saying they were using wildfires and forest fires as a military weapon.
How do you find time to get all of this in your brain? How do you know all of this?
I go down the rabbit hole, and I have no life, and I stay up abnormally
She's
late,
up very late, right? There's times where
it's
like 2 or 3 in the morning, and she's
this morning was 5:30.
I'm shooting her messages of like look what I just found online about these spiders that came back from the dead.
Yeah. It was like school. When I went to school, I got up a couple hours earlier and stayed a couple hours late, and you just kind of get by on less. But so just that has come out. The new CDC guidelines came out, and I'll just keep this real short because I know we have to go soon. And before I say it, I will mention that Aaron Stevens has asked to come back on the show next week. He wants to talk about his slider recipe. So, which is kind of famous in his circles. And I can guarantee you that will probably be an interesting conversation. So, yep, Aaron will be back next week to visit. And yeah, so the CDC guidelines now make me angry. Because they are everything that we have been talking about for over a year, that if we had posted them 10 days ago, we would be banned or get a little strike on our site. He's saying they're yummy. They are yummy. So, they're saying that vaccinated and unvaccinated people should be treated the same. You no longer have to quarantine people who have been exposed, different things. You can go on the CDC site and check all that yourself. So I won't waste time with that. But they're saying basically everything that people who have not had the shot have been fighting for the past year and a half. And it makes me so mad that, first off, that the CDC people looked to them for information. They were the last people to admit it. So they are not the forefront of information. And don't forget that with monkeypox and everything else in the future. What do we learn here, kids? We learned that the CDC learns it last and gets it last. Secondly, we all took so much abuse. We were dehumanized. We were called names. We were told we were selfish. We were told we were destroying people. We were told we were uninvited. I was surreptitiously uninvited, very, very subtly, to Easters, to Christmases, to my uncle's house, to, my friends, who had gone out of their way to say, come to Thanksgiving, come to Easter, just kind of blew me off when it came up to that because I didn't have the jab. I know people who are not allowed around their grandchildren or their, different people. We were treated like fucking lepers.
Right.
We were treated like shit. And it got to the point where people were calling for us to be segregated. There were people that were not refused medical help. They were kicked out of hospitals when they needed it. Pregnant women were kicked out of hospitals because they weren't vaccinated. There were people who got really, really sick and got pneumonia and different things. They go in for a broken leg or dialysis because they weren't vaccinated. They would not be treated.
Right.
We were 2 steps away from going into camps because of pseudoscience, because that's all it was. It was untested pseudoscience. And the information we were given was disinformation. And the disinformation what was marked disinformation was actually life-saving information that people were trying to warn others about and help with. And we were getting kicked off of social media and called crazy and being abused for it and told we don't know what we're talking about and go back to wrestling and just shake your tits, you don't know anything better and things like that. And I know all of you have dealt with it except for the titty part. So yeah, somebody said I know someone that was denied a kidney transplant due to COVID that would have been approved before. I know someone who was denied life-saving dialysis until he was forced to be vaccinated. Incredible. I know someone else who was recently denied cancer treatment until he got his booster. So these things happened and people bought into them as if they were fact on something that just because it came from screens and news and CDC. And now CDC is not so much as issuing an apology. No one's issuing an apology for how we were told we couldn't go to restaurants. We were kicked out of restaurants. We were told we couldn't go to concerts. We were kicked off of public transportation. We were told we couldn't go into hotels. Cruises. And in some areas, no cruises. We lost our vacations, no refunds. And in some places, you weren't even allowed to go into grocery stores. In England, you were not allowed to go grocery shopping. So no one's issuing an apology for everything. And not to mention being fired. People were fired. We're not allowed to travel. So why could you just say, I'm sorry, we didn't know. We did the best we could with what we had then. Because people were abused.
What a disaster.
They were abused in every possible way.
What a total disaster that
and it was a complete disaster. And we knew from the get-go that it wasn't doing anything. It was an epic failure.
You came on my show and said the exact same thing at the height of this shit.
Yeah. And it came out this week.
Right.
From a study that the more jabs you get, just like I've been saying, the more you get, the lower your immune system is, the more COVID you're going to get. Wow. That came out from the doctors.
Wow.
So, yep.
And, over here in New York, it was evident, right? I know so many people that took that thing that got sick, and it was crazy. But you're absolutely right. Now, what's the difference? What happened? What changed between now and then? What's the difference?
I think it became so freaking obvious
that the unvaccinated. I'm just saying it's rhetorical.
The unvaccinated didn't die.
Right.
That's what happened.
And as someone who's unvaccinated, I've only gotten COVID once. And you can see the proof in the pudding. I mean, just as well as anybody, BRV, Israel is got almost 100% vaccination rate.
Right.
And they have all these pockets of re-COVID and
incredible
re-COVID
COVID.
and re-COVID. And it's like your whole population is basically vaxxed and you can't get rid of it. So
it's a petri dish is what Israel became for Pfizer.
Not to mention, like what Winona just said, she thought she was going to die alone in the hospital, not from COVID, just in the hospital, because her family couldn't come in. How many people did experience that or weren't allowed to see their family in nursing homes and things like that? And they never got to see them again. It was awful.
I got to see them again, thank the Lord. But there was my stepfather was in a nursery home for 6 months.
Yeah, and
we didn't see him. We couldn't do anything. We would drive up to the parking lot and see him through a window.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here. It was the best. It was crazy.
And nuts. Players said we just dismissed thousands of armed forces who refused to get the shots. Doctors who worked pre-vax,
right,
and there were heroes then, were let go. How does that make sense when it seems like we're on the brink of a war? That's a national security issue. And don't tell me that the military agree when they go in to get all this stuff, because guess what? When they enlisted, this was not a thing, and they actually were not giving this vaccine when it first came out to anyone military. They decided against it at first. Right. So they gave them everything else that's been around forever. They line you up and jab you, but an mRNA is not a vaccine. It is gene therapy, and it should not be given to people. And when the DOD did the testing, the young males were getting, what do you call it? Not tachycardia, the other one. Myocarditis. And I don't think people take myocarditis as seriously as it is.
They don't know what it is, April.
Okay, myocarditis is a very serious diagnosis. You could live through it now, but 20% of the people who are diagnosed with myocarditis die within 5 years. I don't understand people who will vaccinate their children against a sickness that is survivable and barely touches children at all, like on a serious, in a serious way, and risk myocarditis to them, which will kill them. You are playing so much Russian roulette.
Right.
It's crazy that people they're uninformed when they're making these decisions. They're making uninformed decisions. They do not know what this stuff is, what's going on. And it's insane to me.
Well, let's not look for any apologies, right? They're pushing what is it, the monkeypox as an epidemic now, they're trying to say, and now they found polio here in New York.
That's the other thing.
Okay. In the sewage system, and they're trying to push the polio vaccine.
What's up? Type 2 polio. There are 3 types of polio.
Right.
Type 2 polio
supposed to be eradicated.
Vaccine derived polio. So that means somebody came in from one of the countries, like somewhere in Africa or somewhere in the Middle East, where it has been raging because they're still using the certain type of the vaccine.
Right, the oral one.
Mm-hmm. So it's vaccine-induced polio. So they came in and they're spreading it. So the pharmaceutical company wants you to get vaccinated against something that they created through a vaccine. Their solution is to never admit that they caused it. Their solution is to just give you more medication until you get vaccinated against it. And I'm telling you, this is vaccine-induced COVID too.
Oh yeah, I mean the COVID definitely. I think at this point, and I don't know if there's many people that would, well, there are tons of people that would refute it, but I don't understand it, right? They just, they shut their eyes down in the face of evidence. It's like, no, it's not. What are you talking about? I wasn't allowed. I don't speak to a whole section of my family because of this. They don't want, I was told that I was going to kill them and that they weren't going to allow me to murder them and their families because, I was like, man, all right, fine. So we don't talk. I haven't talked to them in 6 months. It's fine, whatever. Or maybe longer, actually. Longer than that. It is what it is.
I mean, we've all been through. I mean, my improv troupe decided that you got to be vaxxed to be a part of the improv troupe now. So if you ain't got that vax card, don't even bother coming back, right? So for me, and COVID's been breaking out back and forth in between the club and everything, and I'm like, I'm not the one that's gonna come in and kill you guys, like,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I've seen it with my family too. My family was the same way. I mean, my mom and dad, they quarantined away from everybody, right? Now, but they played it safe. Like if they knew we didn't have COVID or we'd recently been tested, they'd come see us and things like that. And once they got vaxxed, they started coming out more. I don't think they've had COVID for a second or third time or anything like that. But
Hopefully not.
My brother and sister-in-law, they did the same thing. And they were the ones that were like, hey, if you're not vaxxed or you're not, they were the ones that hermetized themselves the most out of like my immediate family. And so pretty much the same thing.
Someone said, actually, I stay away from my sister. She keeps getting vaxxed now regularly. And I gotta be honest with you, when I hear people are getting all these shots, I stay away from them too, because I think they're the spreaders. So yeah, I don't know, that I could be wrong with that, but why take the chance? So, and it is right. Hate bot, you're right. The MO here is to keep us divided. So whether it's quarantine, whether it's fighting with each other, left versus right, and all that other stuff over social issues, whether it's increasing the prices of things so much that it costs too much to go and get together with people. And let me tell you, it is a very, very powerful thing when you can make the people who love you and have always been there for you stop talking to you. That's what the pharmaceutical and media have done. That's what the powers that be have done. They have made it so people who have been in each other's lives for years or their entire life are now not talking to them. Do you know how God-like that is? That is so much power. And do you know what? We are fucking idiots because we gave it to them. We're fucking idiots because we allowed it to happen. We allowed ourselves to be manipulated. We allowed ourselves to make decisions based out of fear instead of full education. So what are we learning from this? Are we going to learn from it? Or are we going to let it happen again and again and again? So hopefully we're learning from this, because they're not going to stop with the pox and the polio and everything else. So
the thing is, right, like we'll probably we've seen it, but how many of the mainstream is going to buy into it, or even if they acknowledge it, they're just going to pick themselves up and keep right on going. It's not like something they'll stop and actually examine and analyze and say, hey, oh my God, maybe you guys had a point. Like most people will just keep right on going.
No. First, Winter, thank you for your comments. I am reading them and they're valuable. Secondly, I would, my cynical side would agree with you, but you can't deny how many people are awake now who are speaking out. We're seeing it more and more and more. So in 2 years, I think people have seen through a lot. Don't underestimate the seeds you're planting when you speak out. So, because I think we are really planting a lot of seeds. The people might not hear it right now, but it goes in. It's like a kid. Kids, teenagers, they don't listen, but sometimes it comes back out later when they see something for themselves, and all of a sudden it clicks together and like, oh, I remember that time that I heard that podcast, or I remember that time I saw that thing. And unfortunately, they have to maybe see something first, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, hang on a second. Somebody said this. I saw it somewhere, and they start going back, and then all of a sudden it's like, now they're awake. And sometimes you have to see it first. I was very anti Ron DeSantis. I was very like, he's going to kill everybody by leaving Florida open. What the fuck? And, once you see what's happening and you see how it's working, you have to see it for yourself sometimes. So don't stop planting the seeds, because sometimes sometimes they lie dormant for a while, Don't give up.
I certainly hope you're right.
Don't give up. Anyway, we're an hour and a half in. We don't want to keep everybody. I know most of you don't stay up all night like I do.
Well, April, I want to keep this tradition alive since we started it last week. I have two people
Mm-hmm.
that are going to Peck Flex, and you have to determine the winner. And since we have Billy Ray Valentine here this week, so up first, we've got Handsome Johnny here.
Nice.
Okay.
He's got real good control on that.
He does have good control.
Right one. And then
titties for biddies.
So let's go back. We'll give you another look at Handsome Johnny here.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. But he's up against a legend.
Ah, the total package. It's over, brother.
He's up against a legend.
I know. What do you guys think?
I like Roger, whatever the hell his name is. I'm gonna give it to him. That there was more. Exactly. Boom. He was killing it, and then there was some jiggle there. There wasn't much jiggle with Flexi Lexi, bro. So I'm gonna go with the other dude.
You're gonna go with the other guy?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with Lex, just because he was rocking the titties. But I appreciate Handsome Johnny.
Johnny.
He was getting that right one going. So
bang bang. I can't do that. That's a talent.
April, I don't know if you heard the part about the fetish con. She had a pet flex off with someone at the fetish con.
I'm sure that other person lost.
I had a flex off with what's her name? The green girl.
She-Hulk, yeah.
Yes, we had after our event, we did our little thing. So we went up there and had some fun with it.
Shouts to the gigolo Jimmy Del Rey. That's my guy.
So you have any more for me to judge? Because I tried to stay non-judgmental in life.
We'll do the two. I'll try to find two, and we'll go head to head with those two each week.
Okay, awesome. So now that you guys are here, we have to do some flex offs. Are everybody going to do it?
Fine.
Okay.
This isn't fair, April.
Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
The best way to do it, BRB, is you put your hands kind of under each one, and then you just you
show your hands
to the beat. There you go. I can't do it no hands.
I'm doing it like Handsome Johnny. Just one side is working.
One side's fine. Gully Blanchard. That's such a great name. I love it.
He's came into the chat, just saw men jiggling their titties. What's going on?
You came into the chat at the right time.
Best time.
Oh yeah, we have to make Aaron do it. Maybe since he's been dieting
Aaron.
and stuff.
Aaron will judge.
Yeah,
Aaron will judge some people next week. Yep. Yes.
So you guys, again, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being on Patreon, April Hunter. That too, April Hunter. The A Show. Like I said, it's one thing to say that you enjoy us and appreciate and love us. It's another thing to actually throw some biddies for titties and subscribe and put your money where your mouth is. We appreciate it because hosting fees, and it's nice to be had some dollars thrown. It's awesome, actually. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. If you have suggestions or critique, we're always open to it. And I guess we will see you soon, right? You guys got anything to add there?
Billy Ray, where can they find you?
Shouts to the gigolo Jimmy Del Rey, who taught me how to be sexy back in the 80s, the Heavenly Bodies. What's up, Jim Cornette? Go check that. Go check the gigolo, man. He's the dude. He's dead now. God bless him, man. But he was smooth as fuck. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. Thank you for bringing me on the show. I love this show. I was just tuning in. I was like, I hit up Colin. I'm like, what's going on? You guys aren't on. I like listening to you guys while I'm doing stuff in the house. I'm cooking dinner right now. I probably burnt it. It is what it is. That's it, man.
It's Cajun. It's Cajun.
What is it? The Infinite Fringe. Go check out The Infinite Fringe. I just had David Knight on, former InfoWars host and personality, and we went in on Trump and on Alex and all that shit. So if you want to listen, go ahead. Go over to theinfinitefringe.podbeam.com or The Infinite Fringe on Apple Podcasts. Thank you, guys.
Oh, I bet that's interesting.
Thank you.
Alex is crazy, I think. He's crazy, but when you think of conspiracy theorists, you definitely think of Alex.
Right.
You got anything, Colin?
No, I'm good to go. Yeah.
All right. Well, then you guys will see us next Tuesday. See you next Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Love ya.
I ain't giving you guys kisses.